Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this opinions video. This is all about the New Day. Should they split? Will they split? How would you do it? Should Big E be involved? Who turns heel? Really, I just want to talk about anything and everything New Day. This comes from Edward, who asked this question back in July about the New Day splitting. And honestly, this is one that's been kind of building, rumbling away for quite a while. Obviously, we know about the whole Odyssey Jones stuff, but big indicators that this split is coming now. Obviously, on Raw, we saw Xavier going off on Kofi. And I suppose it's just a bit weird to think of WWE without the New Day. But, you know, look, the New Day have been sleepwalking for a long time now. If you go back, like, when they had Bootios, I mean, they were so over when they had the whole Bootios thing and the pancakes and the pops, the popsicles. Like, there was loads of different things that they were doing. Lots of fun to be had. But it's been a long time, really, since they've been that group. Really, ever since Big E left, it just has not been the same. So I feel like if you wanted to breathe new life into them and try and continue the group, I think you could. But it's going to need the support of creative, and they're going to need something to get their teeth into. You know, we had Bootios, we had pancakes. Maybe adding Odyssey Jones could have been the missing piece to the puzzle. I don't know what the plans were for that. Obviously, a lot of people presuming we were going to build to a split quite quickly, but who knows? Perhaps they would have kept the group going for a bit. But definitely feels like there is a split that is coming. The only thing I would say is, if that is the road we're on, I really am looking at Kofi. I really think the swerve is that Kofi's the one that turns. I could be completely wrong. I absolutely could. But I just think that it's classic misdirection of having Xavier wear black, having Xavier be the one that's showing frustration, only for Kofi to snap. And Kofi is the one that ends up turning heel. So I'm definitely looking at that as an option. But yeah, enough about me. Let's get to you and see what you lot had to say. So we haven't had many responses on this, mainly because at the time of recording this, it's been up about an hour and 20 minutes. So I really didn't give you much time on this one. But let's have a look and see what we did get. So Gio the Theo said, I would have New Day breakup. I would do it by having a backstage moment where Xavier's attacked, but we don't know who did it. Then next week, a similar attack will happen to Kofi. Then when Kofi is in a match, Carrion shows up and he whispers propaganda into Kofi's ear. Kofi then runs at Xavier, but he hits the IC champion instead. 2 weeks later, Xavier is in a #1 contenders match for the IC title. Kofi attacks Xavier whilst the ref is distracted. Kofi has a promo. He asks Xavier to show, but Karrion Kross does. Kross tells Kofi he did the right thing, and he reveals footage that shows Xavier was the one that had attacked Kofi and set up the attack all those weeks ago. Then it sets up a PLE match, which could be Falls Count Anywhere. During the match, the ref is attacked by... There's a lot of attacks. During the match, the ref is attacked by Carrion. We now have no ref. When they are fighting, Big E comes out wearing a ref outfit. The match gets emotional. Big E tells them to have a clean match. Xavier ends up winning, and they hug it out in the ring, said Gio the Theo. So that's how Gio the Theo would do it. Ian said, New Day must be one of, if not the, longest groups together without a split. Something needs to happen because they're just stale. I think Big E coming back would be fantastic, but that's a huge risk for him with injuries. Well, he could come back, but just not be competitive, you know? Just like how Gio the Theo said, like, maybe involve him as a special guest ref or something along those lines. Dexter said Xavier would definitely have to be the face. He could fight Braun for the IC title, and you could put Kofi with the Final Testament as a tag with Karrion Kross. That would shake up Xavier, says Dexter. Matter said, on the same page this Monday on Raw. In November, we celebrate the 10th anniversary. A masked monster comes from the crowds and holds Big E back while Kofi rips Xavier apart, which causes a kayfabe injury to Xavier, keeping him out until the road to WrestleMania 41, where we get Kofi versus Xavier. Obafemi is my choice to neutralize Big E and become Kofi's enforcer. I really like that. I really like Obafemi as Kofi's enforcer. I think that's great. I think he loses soon to Tony, and Kofi could teach him how to lose his accent. So there we go. Yeah, I really like that with Oba joining Kofi. Jimmy Rabbit said, I really wanted them to break barriers and be the first legitimate tag team to not break up or turn on each other. And I'm still holding out hope. Tony said, I really don't want them to split, but I think Xavier will be the one that turns. I hope that Big E does get involved before that, though. It's kind of a waste of almost 10 years, if you ask me. Sam said, I would split them only if there's a specific plan for Xavier to be a major heel. Right now isn't the time, because I doubt he would be. Also, New Day, 13th title reign. That would be great. Rico said Big E will secretly attack them both on separate occasions, causing them to believe that each other did it. Woods will turn on Kofi. They will have a rivalry. Big E shows up on a pay-per-view event and destroys them both. So you would actually have, like, Big E be the heel. Big Dan said, with this fall being the 10-year anniversary of New Day, I feel it needs to be acknowledged without a full heel turn. Perhaps Big E gets involved and saves the breakup, thus maybe getting Big E back regularly, just without in-ring action, but maybe as a manager, said Big Dan. Carl said, if it's going to happen, I would give them the tag titles really soon, have everything seem like they're back on the same page, but there's still always trouble brewing in the background. During the title run, they'll have a few close calls where they almost lose, but they still win. Then eventually they lose on the 10-year anniversary with Xavier finally snapping and attacking Kofi. I think the 10-year anniversary show is a great place to do it as well. I agree. Solar said, if I was Triple H, I would use the Gargano-Ciampa feud from NXT as the blueprint. Xavier snaps and he brutalizes Kofi. Eventually, the two men hit their respective rock bottoms. Big E comes back to bring the band back together. Matthew said, I wouldn't. But if you're going to, I would have them at each other's throats and about to have a street fight. Big E comes out. He can be the voice of reason. Maybe have some video montage of everything they have been through. Hug it out and then just draft one to NXT or SmackDown. Melanie said, I think Kofi is going to leave. Brendan said, Alex Edler has signed a contract with the Canucks. Thank you. Nathan says, how? Well, I would do something similar to what Raw did this past week. I would have Xavier get so frustrated after a match. Let's say the stipulation is, if they lose, they will never get another chance at the titles ever again. And then absolutely, brutally hits Kofi, chair shots, putting him through tables, and he leaves on a stretcher. Big E, yes, I would have him play Peacekeeper, trying to keep the sense into Woods, but it doesn't work. And then Kofi returns a month or so before Mania. We do Kofi Xavier, Hell in a Cell, Big E, a special guest ref. Thoughts? Well, there's a lot to digest there. I mean, I like Kofi Xavier, Hell in a Cell, Big E, a special guest ref. I like that. Big E trying to keep the peace. I like that. So, yeah, I mean, what we're building towards there sounds good to me. I like the idea of them splitting on that 10-year anniversary thing, though. I'm down for that. I can't quite get past that because there is maybe a future for the New Day, but I think you've really got to get behind them. And I just don't know that we're going to do that, to be honest. I really like what was mentioned earlier about Obafemi being like Kofi's backup, if you will. For me personally, I would turn Kofi. I think everyone's expecting Xavier. I'd pull the switcheroo, and I'd have Kofi turn, make Xavier a big baby face, and have like Kofi with Oba, and have a Hell in a Cell, Big E as the special guest referee. I like all of that. Checks out for me. And Corndog said, I feel like it would be cool if they split up, had a little feud, and then Big E came in, told them to knock it off, and then gets the family back together. I suppose the only problem with that is I just don't know that Big E is going to be able to wrestle ever again. So what we would end up with is we would end up with Kofi and Xavier as a tag team, which is where we are now. Big E could be the manager, but I don't know if that's what he wants. And I just don't know that we end up in a good place, you know? It might just be that the team has run its course. Don't know. But there we go. That was a shorter opinion video than usual, but still some really good thoughts in there. Some really interesting thoughts. What would you do? What would you do with the New Day? Let us know down in the comments below. Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.